This is Sam. He's 2 years old. He's an orphan. This is Sam's home, a shack where his grandmother and 4 children sleep in one room. Like all these children, Sam's mother died of HIV/AIDS and other diseases. And like them, he now lives in extreme poverty with a high risk of malnutrition and severe health problems. The orphans live in a rural community in Limpopo Province, South Africa. They're the legacy of a disease that's reached pandemic levels across the whole of the continent. This is the story of a brave group of local people who've dedicated themselves to improving the lives of these children. They've named their project Mponegele Ke Itirele, which means give us light so we can find our way ourselves. The project founder and leader is Matididi Makono.
I started this project because I saw that the kids without parents are suffering. They don't have food. They are clothed, in an embarrassing way. And even school fund, they don't pay. Their grannies are old, they cannot help them. So I decided to leave my job. So the short term is to let them get grants and feed them, clothe them, so that we can take it from there. When their stomachs are full, now we need to give them skills so that we support them. When they grow, they can be able to do things for themselves.
The project has 3 feeding centres, refuges where the children can be fed, clothed, feel safe, talk about their problems, and learn about simple ways to improve their lives. Each centre is run by volunteers from the local community.
I saw the little baby. Her name is Joanna. She was naked, wearing nothing, and then the hair was fluffy, and she didn't have any milk or something to eat. The stomach was big. Then I realized that the child have kwashiorkor, and then I started to tell Miss Mukono, hey, I didn't sleep that night, even eat, because of the little one. Then they say we will buy some milk and then soft porridge, mealie meal. Then I go there to take those groceries. That's why Joanna grew up. Now Joanna, she's very beautiful. The hair is grown up, black in color, and she's healthy, very healthy.
Le bona ga nako ya social working ka ba tlhalosetsa gore na ba di tjwa le ngwana ba phela jwa le na mle ra bangwa di shetse ba fitha ge ba iklo thala ka malapeng ba bangwe ba shetse ba ba tshepishe ba bangwe sa tla ba ba tshepishe nna ke bona ba thusha ka re ba bangwe ka ga ya ba ne ja go ja re khona go ta go lena ra le boja nyaka tšile ba nyakela ntja dijo ba ba rekela ba pele le di go bonyana jane tšile go di ba thusha re ka re bangwe iro ba le go thomela pelo ka magae.
As well as feeding the children, the centres give them an opportunity to grow their own food. The project is also supported by Colin and Di Wood Robinson, 2 volunteers from the UK who've lived and worked in South Africa for the last 8 years.
Sam.
We got involved because one of our ex-colleagues who was working with us here, Dr. Sylvia Weir, had some money she wanted to use for AIDS orphans in South Africa because she was very involved with South Africa. And we didn't quite know how to go about this.
And coincidentally, I happened to meet one of our former principals that we'd worked with on our education project, Matididi Makono, who was an outstanding head of a primary school. And she'd now retired and told me she was working with a project trying to help orphans, but had found it very difficult to get any funding. So the two things really came together and drew us into the project, so that we now spend a large amount of our time working in helping the orphans in a whole variety of different ways. The main thing we've been involved with so far, and we see it going into the future, is writing bids to organisations to raise funds, not only for the centre and for food, but also to be able to pay the volunteers working in their communities for absolutely no reward at all. And some of them have been working for the project for 2 years. Well, we're trying to help about 200 orphans at the moment. When we started 6 months ago, there were 70.
We work very closely with all the local communities in our villages, working with the chief, having the approval of the chief and the local indunas. Also keeping all the local people informed. So we're always working with our stakeholders.
Another important factor is that we work very closely with the Provincial Department of Health and Social Development. They've been very supportive of us, and we're hoping to get regular donations of food from them. But we work closely with them, and indeed with other projects helping orphans in neighbouring areas to the ones that we're working in. Virtually everything they give is spent on the children. There are almost no administrative costs at all. So money that is given goes to each child, or goes to every child that we work with.
The project is making a real difference to the lives of these children. It's received some support from local companies, but it struggles on a weekly basis for funds to provide food, water and firewood. And these needs are increasing as more orphans are identified in the villages where the project works. The project needs your help, and the money you give will support the project in 2 ways. In the short term, it will provide emergency help and improve existing feeding centres by renovating the buildings and adding toilets and running water. It'll help set up effective training programs for the orphans, their guardians and the local community. In the long term, it will enable the project to realise its vision, to establish a purpose-built project centre on land already donated by the local chief. These children have vital needs both now and in the future. Your donations, large or small, will help sustain this essential support.